Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for today's webinar, Reinventing the Future of Customer Service. My name's Chris from Nordea Insights, and I'm pleased to be joining the webinar today as a moderator to guide us through the next action-packed 45 minutes. Now, I should just say before we start, we've had a load of issues with the Nordea wireless connection this morning, so if I suddenly disappear, I'm sorry about that, but we'll try and keep going and see how we get on. And now this webinar will be recorded, and we'll upload the recording on the Nordea Insights web platform if we're lucky enough to get through it. And so afterwards, you can share the recording with any of your friends or colleagues who couldn't make it with us today. This is a 45-minute session, and we've set aside the last 15 minutes for a Q&A. So if you have any questions that pop into your head during the discussions, please write them in the chat, and we'll really try to get to them at the end. Now, for today's webinar, I'm delighted to be joined by Viktoria Hindsberg from the State Treasury of Finland and Göran Wendéus and Henrik Thomsen from Nordea to discuss how customer service continues to develop at a rapid pace and the effect digitalization is having on both innovation and customer relationships. Now, we all know for private individuals and smaller companies, the relationships and ways of working with a bank have been digitized for quite some time. For larger companies with more complex structures, it's been a bit more of a challenge for banks to provide digital and self-service options. Nordea is now actively focusing on this area, and this topic is really something we want to dig into today and take a closer look during the webinar. So without further ado, Göran, Henrik and Viktoria, please tell us a bit about yourselves. Should we start with you, Viktoria?
Sure. Hi, my name is Viktoria. I've been working as a chief specialist at the State Treasury of Finland since autumn 2019, so for 1.5 years now. And I started as a project manager in our implementation project of our new cash management banks, which were tendered earlier. And the project lasted for 1 year. It was successfully implemented in the beginning of December 2020, and since then we've been focusing on making new processes better and developing further on.
Thanks, Viktoria, and thanks so much for taking the time to share your thoughts with us today. And Göran, would you like to go next?
Yeah, Göran Wendéus, responsible for transaction banking customer service in Nordea, covering the business areas of trade finance, cards and cash management. I've been in this part of banking since 2004, and I think it's safe to say that the digitalization, etc., that we're going to be covering today has indeed been a long time coming for someone that's been working with this for so long as I have. So looking very much forward to the panel today, and also hope it will work out all the way. I'm sitting in the office, and so I hope that's going to be able to be here all through the
Yep, I think Göran actually disappeared there. So let's pop over to Henrik.
Yeah, I'm Henrik Thomsen, and I'm heading up our Nordea Corporate platform, which is a new digital offering for mid-size and large companies or corporate clients. I've been working within the digital space for over 10 years now, and find it extremely fascinating working with technology and also see what the technology can enable, both within the space of customer service, but also transferring businesses into more digital, sustainable digital business models. So yeah, I'm very delighted to be here. So thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us, Henrik. I can see Göran has frozen a bit, but we'll give it a second, see if he comes back. But I think we can get started with our first point. And of course, there's no real getting away from the corona crisis and the effect that it's had, especially during the last year on customer service. And Viktoria, starting with you, I mean, what challenges do you think customer service has faced over the last year? How has this strange year impacted you?
Yeah, for us, the whole corona crisis started in the middle, or actually in the very beginning of our implementation project. So, which meant that we had to rethink the whole thing. As since the middle of March 2020, we have been all working on distance. So all the workshops and meetings and everything that we had planned to do in place had to be rescheduled and done over internet. And also in the beginning, we had some problems finding the right platform to reach our partners, and also where to share documents due to these firewalls. So it did give us a little bit of extra challenges there.
Did it kind of accelerate issues you didn't know you had, or did you kind of know you had them anyway, but suddenly it became, they became really important?
Yeah, it was more like you had to rethink the whole schedule about how to do things, and all the training, for example, had to be made online, which we hadn't prepared for. And
you'd be ready next time, I suppose.
Yes.
Never unfortunate to have this again. Henrik, I suppose, of course, all these challenges led to certain trends and things that developed, different ways of working, in particular digitized customer service and so on. But what were the trends that kind of jumped out for you over the last year, and are any of them, do you think, here to stay?
Yeah, so of course we have seen a lot of trends over the past year, but just to pinpoint one of them, I would say that the last year it has been accelerated in the digitalization, and in some cases actually a actual digital transformation has been the case. Almost all sectors or industries has been impacted by this. And many companies has been forced to rethink in alternative ways and also change their business models much faster than expected. What we see ourselves and also for our customers is the need for increasing the efficiency in the workflows by creating much more self-service capabilities and reducing manual task handling. And those trends have definitely been accelerated and are for sure also here to stay.
Göran, Nancy, good to have you back with us. We're just chatting about the things we've experienced over the past year of the strange year that we've been through. Anything that you think will stay after the way we've changed our ways of working?
Yeah, now I heard Henrik a bit, and I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry for.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I will try to pop back if I'm logged out again, continuously. So, but I think I'm thinking very short. I'm not sure what you covered already. That the last year has been, in many senses, worked out better than we maybe expected a year ago. I think all the practicalities around video meetings and working remote have been pretty smooth, and I think we learned a lot actually, and even seen some good things coming out of our new maturity in this area, and also why we had a bit of bigger challenges initially with moving our somewhat paper-based services onto a more semi-digital way, if you like, has also maybe worked out better than one can expect. And I heard Henrik talking about the trends, and if we trend or whatever you want to call it, I think we can expect that have more of a multi-geography remote workplace going forward. So is something that we really take with us from the last year is it would have been so much easier if we would have already been in a stage with more digital environment and more of self-services, etc., when the pandemic struck. So I think we, more than anything, saw the increased need to move to a different stage than where we were a year ago or where we are right now. So I guess that's also why we now want to share that picture a bit about where we see we're heading in this webinar. So yeah.
I think we lost Chris.
Chris, yeah.
Yes, we lost Chris.
So should we continue ourselves then, or what a joke? Yeah.
I'm back.
You're back.
Good.
Thanks, Göran. I didn't get the end of what you're saying there, but I was
but
wondering.
It was really good. So I mean,
yeah, I'm sure it's great. But it certainly sounds to me like digitalization can solve the modern customer service needs of Nordic companies. I think that's obviously
that's where we
obvious.
need to. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
and where do you think it's ideal to meet these challenges? I think you mentioned a few things there.
Yeah, and when we talk about that, I think for us, it's the customer needs are in a sense the same, of course, but I mean the way we meet them, and we, Henrik and Viktoria will a bit later, hopefully today in this webinar, then talk a bit more about the platform that we are launching for more of digital interaction between ourselves and the customers, and that is one of the example. I think maybe the best example of really doing something different than how we work today. But with that said, more general, of course, we would see we are working on digital agreement, digital signing, high up the list, and something that we are in Nordea now in a pretty fast pace going to start rolling out also for the larger companies or the larger institutions. As you said, Chris, in the beginning, this is like, something that's been around for quite a long time for smaller companies and absolutely for private individuals, but we are finally there to start moving it up to the larger companies as well. We have the development, of course, of chatbots and AI. I need to touch on that as well. And the more we are able to move ourselves to platform, and by doing that, allowing our customers to do more of what we maybe want to call self-service, then I think AI, for example, can really play a good role in the guiding, enabling our customers to do that. And as a last push or last thing that I would mention as a push for moving into more digital ways, when we are on the logged on to platform interaction rather than talking via emails, etc., that is a big step for security and also something that we addressed for some while. Like, email is not a very good way for any communication in regards of the banking business. So I think there are many strong pushes in a way moving us to a more digital way of working, and that will be the future. And of course, we would be working on this regardless of the corona or what have you. But I think we really saw an increase in the need, and we have managed to speed up in a good way to try to move us there. I think so. I'm not sure how much you heard, Chris, but good to have you back.
Yeah, no, I got it all. Yeah. I think my camera disappeared, but I certainly heard it. Thank you. And Henrik, did new ways of working then mean new levels of service, for example?
Yeah, it for sure does. And I think that this is one of the areas where we really can use the technologies to support us in the new ways of working. Meaning that we can increase our transparency and of course also availability in our customer service. And just to give a quite simple but effective example here, that could be that you want to open an account for one of your subsidiaries in one of the countries that your company operates. So you give in a request, and throughout the process you get updated, and you get finally notified on that now this specific account is available. Super simple and with a lot of value, and that is a clear-cut case of where we can do a lot of things. And of course, like Göran also mentioned, everyone is now working remotely, and I'm much more comfortable also using Teams or other online tools. So the need for instant access to information, and of course also getting in contact with in our case with a relationship manager or cash manager specialist has of course increased dramatically.
Thanks. And Viktoria, on your side, how with the suppliers that you have, the vendors and so on, how have these relationships changed due to digitalization, or how have you adapted them, I should say?
Yeah, of course, this is a necessary outcome, digitalization, but I think it was a bit speeded up by this pandemic we had. So we had to put in new processes, like where documents could be signed digitally and that sort of things. But on the other hand, as we have 60 entities around Finland, so it also means that meetings couldn't necessarily have been arranged physically in any case. So in that sense, we also took some advantage of this situation that everybody just came online, and then it was much easier to have a lot of people gathered around the same table. And also we lost no time from moving from a city to another. Everybody was just there so sometimes remote does make it much more efficient.
That's really interesting. Thanks. And Göran, how about for you?
I think Viktoria covered it quite well, but it's obviously the same from the other side, if you like, in a relationship like that. Also for us as a bank, it doesn't really sound like rocket science, but I mean sometimes we need a push to move us to new ways of thinking. And exactly as Viktoria said, we have a lot of expertise around our countries and our different units. That it's now we have when we're a bit more mature in this new normal, if you like, we can obviously think we are, I think, having the opportunity to ensure that we have the right expertise at the table to solve it. Like, it's not geographically bound, so I think we learned that. But also, I think here actually, when we talk about relationship and digital and video meetings, and also on the thing of working more on digital interaction, and which hopefully take away some of the more phone and email interaction. I think that shouldn't, in a sense, be. I think it can strengthen the relationship as such. I think it's important that, like, if we provide good digital solutions also in the day-to-day way of working, that will actually strengthen the relationship. I don't see there is anything going against each other in the words of digitization and the relationship, rather the contrary. I think we have learned that with good solutions we actually build relationship, and hopefully that should cover also now when we move more of what we see as customer service into more of the digital space. So yeah.
Do you think over time the digital relationship might actually replace the kind of traditional ones? I'm thinking of client dinners, going out. We don't
do that so often anyway.
We don't do that anyway. but there's a whole past based around the importance of a physical.
But it's good that you ask, actually, because I think it's now when we have the focus here on digital evolution, or wanted to present this platform, etc., that Henrik and Viktoria are going to cover. I at least don't see that our more human interaction or the more traditional relationship will disappear in any way. I think it needs to be continued as well, and maybe even more, if you like. I mean, the more we manage to move ourselves to a platform, or more we enable our customers to do more than self-service, etc. I mean, even more important that they can actually still get hold of someone to get the advice and the help in the way we work, and and most often you want that access pretty instant when you're stuck somewhere. So that is a challenge for us to make sure that it is human and digital in a way. So and I also think something that is very important in how we deliver service today to our customers is to do our best to understand our underlying business, to also be available to advise our customers on how to use our solution. I don't see that going away either. So I think that advisory and personal contact will still matter, also in a much more digitized way.
Great, thanks. And of course, for first-class customer service, you need to have the products and solutions to support that. And thinking in where you're sitting, Henrik, what have you been looking at where you really feel you can help customers from a product perspective?
Yeah, and now I need to this doesn't turn into a sales speech totally. Maybe I will just be a little bit selling here, but we have a lot of good things in our pipelines. And last summer we introduced a new platform, Nordea Corporate, a platform that is constantly evolving. So more and more functionality is getting embedded on it. But already now we already have a lot of good offerings that can help our corporate clients on Nordea Corporate. But just to name a few, so we have the dashboard, which enables our customers to stay on top of their financial positions and flows, providing them with a real-time overview of their financial situation. So it's an aggregated view of their financial data, and this service is of course available on all devices, including mobile and tablets. And other services that we just launched last summer as well was the section accounts and transactions, which is a quick and easy drill down, moving from sort of the high level overview, which the dashboard gives you, into the specific transaction and details. You can make account groups, you can search for transactions, and a lot of other stuff. This is of course also a service that is available on mobile and tablets. We have a FX trading area where our customers can take the advantage of an easy and secure FX trading and get access to real-time market information find out your currency exposure, and a lot more things. So this is just some of the services that is already available on the Nordea Corporate platform. And of course, more things is in the pipeline, and some of the things that we are looking into right now, and is we know at least from all our customers is super important, is that we want to make it much easier for them to interact with us first of all, but also to use their different digital services they have with Nordea. So Nordea Corporate is all about sort of unifying all these digital services into one place, and you as a customer, you only have one place where you need to log on to get access to these services.
Thanks, Henrik. Sorry.
I had a couple of more things that, and that's where you need to stop me, Chris, because I can go on and on the entire day.
I think you should keep going.
But another area, and maybe also to segue a little bit into what we have been doing with State of Finland, we of course also want to increase or to improve our experience with the cash management within the cash management area, and free up some of the friction that we experience both ourselves but also from our clients in their daily services. So we are spending a lot of time and efforts on trying to automate some of these customer flows, being more efficient, freeing up time, and building this self-service portal. And in the case with the State of Finland, we have actually started to digitalize over 40 manual forms, fairly not so complicated, but at least very, very complicated. It's like opening an account, closing an account, editing accounts, requesting access to file transfers, payment investigations, and so forth. That is some of the things that we now have put on the self-service portal together with the State of Finland.
Sounds really exciting. Thanks, Henrik. And Viktoria, what sort of solutions do you expect your financial service partners to provide?
Yes, we're of course always looking for solutions that free up our time and create more efficiency. And also we like to minimize the paperwork done and smoothen out our processes otherwise. And it's necessary also to have gain a better overview of our daily business, as we have a lot of entities and a lot of accounts. So that's important for us. And this has been made possible with this new portal. So it started out as we tendered our cash management banks. There we asked our service providers to make this digital platform. And we had some specifics for it, but mainly now with the platform, we're able to open accounts and edit accounts, and also change details to the cash management services related to these accounts without having to do a lot of paperwork and have big archives and everything like that. And also on the self-service portal, we can administrate the users ourselves. So it makes it easier. So for example, if we take our process of opening an account, we have a lot of different levels involved. As I earlier said, we have over 60 units, but also we have a lot of levels on these units. So first there's one person initiating the request, and after that we have 2 to 3 different persons that has to make the confirmation. So if we had to be doing this by documents, sending emails or even papers, that would be very time consuming. So being able to do this digitally on the portal saves us a lot of times and also gives us this transparent view of the whole corporate bank.
That sounds really helpful. I mean, we hear a lot about the innovation in customer service comes from collaboration. How have Nordea and the State of Finland partnered, do you think, to develop this? Has there been a good collaborative process?
Yes, as I told you, we started already in December 2019 with this implementation project, and then this digital portal was one part of it. And we started with going through our needs and expectations together. And then the development was made in Nordea. And throughout this process, we also got to do some testing. And this way we were able to put our input both on this the functionality as well as the outlook and even language, even before we had the portal in production. So that was very useful, I think, for both of us.
That sounds really interesting. Thanks, Viktoria. And Henrik, you know, innovating with partners like Viktoria in the state of Finland, is that really helpful to get to the root of the problem, as it were?
Yeah, like Victoria just said, it has been a longer process, right? That we started out in December 2019, and since there we have had a tight collaboration throughout 2020 with several workshops online, and really trying to also think in new ways of doing things, and of course this requires that we have had continuously developing. So starting out with a smaller MVP, and then building on that, doing usability testing, and then continuously all the way trying to mature and develop the service and the solution so it met our standards and requirements. One thing that is quite important for the work that we have been doing with the state of Finland is that what we see is fitting one customer or one types of customers that has a special need for something. In many cases, especially now, we see that that foundation can be used for more customers. So in the case with the state of Finland, it actually was that work that sort of accelerated our whole thinking within the self-service area or the portal. With opening accounts and so on. Of course, it has been on our minds for a long time, but it has been fueled and accelerated, and now building on that foundation, the self-service portal is something that we want to spread out to more of our Nordic customers. So in quite basically, it's a win-win for all parties. The state of Finland gets a solution that is not only tailored for it's also tailored for the state of Finland, but it also the foundation of it is something that we would like to use for more of our clients all across the Nordics. So that means that whenever we build something on the platform, it will also benefit the state of Finland and as well of more of our Nordic customers. And for Nordea, hopefully we will have more satisfied customers. So win-win for all parties.
That's a really interesting way of thinking about innovation through the collaboration. What are your thoughts about that, Göran?
No, I think it's been well covered by Henrik and Viktoria, but I think I also need to just restate a bit what Viktoria said. Like, you know, when when you have maybe 3 or 4 persons involved in changing an account or whatever, like, you know, how much easier it becomes of everyone being on the platform rather than now in a remote environment, which was where we started this webinar, if you like. I mean, that we've been sending around paper to several places, or in best case PDFs, which is maybe semi-automated or whatever you want to call it, or not really, it's paper, that as well. But so it really explains why I think this is such a big step forward for us, and I hope that everyone listening will see that as well. And great to hear that we will, as you say, Henrik, based on what we're developing here with the state of Finland, because like, you know, coming back to your question, I think it is always the best way to develop something, because I mean, here we got like a very well defined demand, I think, to win that for state of Finland to become their payment service provider. And I think we seen a successful development, and I believe that we have a history of co-creating with customers in other solutions, but maybe this is the first time we do it around the the customer service. But I think it is really a great journey, and I hope that we made during the way, Henrik will collaborate with also other customers across the Nordics in taking it further. That's our wish, I think.
And Viktoria, how do you think banks in the future should approach their relationships with larger companies and institutions, to digitize these services and maintain highly tailored customer service? Is there a particular approach you think they should take?
Yes, I think it's very important that you listen to your customer, because every customer has their different needs. And for example, we as a state can't be compared with large corporations, because we have a lot of our own special needs and a lot of bureaucracy that perhaps the companies don't. So by closely listening, and we were able to find solutions that were suited for us especially. And also during the process, it's very important that we got a bigger understanding of each other and how we work. And also as a customer, we have to realize that sometimes there might be some technical barriers to things that we would like to do, and then we have to rethink the process. But also their dialogue is very important, so we get to have the input from the bank as well.
Thanks. And Henrik, dialogue, that's the way forward for you as well in the product side?
For sure, I can only echo what Viktoria just said, but just maybe to add a little bit on it, to really understand the business challenge and also the need of the customer is super important here, and really listen intensely is a cornerstone in any co-creation and partnership. Then of course to be more innovative, because in many cases there's not only one solution, right, or answer to a challenge. So be open to how to actually deal with this challenge or problem or solution that we're looking into, and really be open could help the partnership a lot going forward, and of course it also requires I guess it goes for all partnerships. It also requires a little bit patience, right? Because in some instance you meet some different challenges, and there you need to have the right understanding of the partners and really listen. And then I just want to pin out again that what seems as a unique or tailored service in at least that's what we experience right now, could be the case that it needs to be like a tailored or a unique, but many of the underlying foundations of these things could be used for more customers, and that's sort of the approach and what we are looking very much of. How can we utilize this for more customers all the way? Yeah.
Thanks. And well, we're sold, digitalization is fantastic, but are there any downsides as we march to this digitalized future? I mean, Göran, is there anything we should be careful not to lose, especially from a customer service perspective?
No, I don't really see that risk. I think there is so much for us to digitize that will only help us, as has been so well pointed out, I think by both Henrik and Viktoria. So, but also maybe I want to relate back to what I said before. We of course also like a bank need to take on the challenges of working on the human relationship in parallel, so we make sure that works with the more things that we put on the platform or whatever, that we can support that journey with people, because I don't think that people will still be around the human interaction one way or the other. So with that angle, I cannot really see any downsides at all. I think there is so much to win from the digitalization that we're seeing. So no, I think that was very well described by Viktoria as well from her side, which I think also take the opportunity to say that we're very grateful for you doing, and it's been a really great journey together.
Thank you. And
I think that would be my conclusion at least.
Yeah. Thanks, Göran. And just time for a couple of quick questions before we say goodbye. Henrik, obvious question, I suppose. Are we doing any more co-creations? Do you have other stuff that's going on?
Yeah, so I think we have like Göran also pointed out, we have a long history of doing co-creation, and both digitally, but certainly also non-digitally, and that is a path that we of course is continuing. You can say that in all our development effort, we do some kind of co-creation because we really strive to listen to our customers when we are implementing a new service. Then we want to receive the feedback so we can improve and make the solutions even better. So I think co-creation goes in many forms and shapes. Some of them are in a more sort of tailored, unique case, like the state of Finland, and in others is more sort of broader. But co-creation is definitely here is something that we love and that we like to do.
And Göran, as you look back over the last few years, is this the way you've always been doing it, this co-creation approach, or has it kind of developed, over the last few years in the way it did for this particular solution?
I think I touched on it a bit before, but I think for my area, my responsibility, I think it's like, when this journey we now do with State of Finland is maybe a first. It's maybe a first that we really look at, like, moving some of our manual processes onto our platform or together with the customer. So I think it's a great first experience for us, and I think it shows great potential.
Thanks. And Viktoria, how's the solution working now?
Yes,
it's fantastic.
Fantastic. And also we still have some development in place and still being done. So we're still expanding our use cases and looking at improving things and processes. So I would say that the work is continuing, but it looks good right now.
So you'll come back next year to tell us how it's going.
I will.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the session, so thanks everyone. And Henrik, one last question to you. What are the next steps for Nordea Corporate? Is there anything we need to know? Our listeners should hear about?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, there is already a lot of things available now on the platform, and more to come. But what is maybe very interesting for all of you listening in to know is that that up till summer and over summer and also after summer, we will be communicating much more around the Nordea Corporate platform. And also giving you updates around what is actually happening. And like I said, one of the key thing for us working, and one of the unique things around the Nordea Corporate platform is to create this platform where you get access to your services, and that is a longer journey that we are on right now. But just after summer, we have some more things in relations to that. So many good things is happening on the Nordea Corporate platform.
Great. It'll be really interesting to see what happens over the course of the year. Well, I'd like to say to everyone out there, thank you for listening, and a huge thanks to Viktoria, Göran, and Henrik for spending the time with us today. It's been fascinating to hear your perspectives from both sides of the table to see how customer service is developing. Sounds like digitalization is super important for the journey ahead. And as I said at the start, if anybody hasn't managed to join us today, well, we'll upload the recording of this webinar to Nordea Insights web platform, and then you can share it as much as you like. So that's it from us. So thanks very much for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.